Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. We are coming to an end of determining the lines of expression in the Pythagorean triangle. Today we're going to be discussing the center, the soul, if you will, of numbers 2, 5, 8, known as the line of emotion. And here it is in the Pythagorean triangle. 2, 5, and 8 is very powerful. And the reason it is not only is it in the center of the two intertwining triangles, but because it also incorporates three other lines that we have discussed in previous videos. The number 2 is the gateway or the center number for the line of thought that we've discussed, numbers 1, 2, 3. It also has the plane of expression of will because we have the number 5, as you can see here. So we have thought and a will line, and then lastly, the last column where number 8 is was our action line. What this all means, friends, is that the line of emotion is going to have within it not only a great deal of feeling, sensitivity, i.e. soul, but it also is going to have aspects of thought, aspects of will and desire, and then also to take action, to do, to initiate what the individual is feeling, sensing, and intuitively feeling. So let's get started. There's a great deal to discuss here today. And as always, I have the written documentation so that you could all take a screenshot and read along with me. So analyzing the plane of expression known as the line of emotion, this line of numbers, it's going horizontally across the middle of the Pythagorean triangle, and it's related to one's emotion, sensitivity, and soul. The line brings intuitive awareness and adaptability to those who have it in their charts. So here is where I break down what it means. Those born with this line have the capacity to take on many responsibilities. They have strong shoulders. They have the knowledge within to assist all who seek them out for guidance and emotional support. In fact, people are usually drawn to you, to them who have this line. This line gives one determination in whatever they're chosen to undertake. Now their hearts and soul is most likely invested in what they believe and strive to achieve. These people don't take on causes lightly, especially when it's well aspected and centered with other supports in the Pythagorean triangle. Now many people are attracted to their style and mannerism. Some find interests which may take them away from their roots and early environment. They, interestingly enough, don't really get attached to their immediate families and surroundings because this soul essence seems to speak to them. And if they listen, then sometimes it allows them to travel, to seek out different interests that, as I said earlier, weren't in their upbringing or have to do with the immediate family. It is often the results of that inner calling to work and devote their lives for the greater whole. Now here is a caution. They must guard against dedicating too much time to their projects, tasks, and interests. Of all the planes within the Pythagorean triangle, this is the most expressive and revealing, and I touched upon that in my introduction because of the way it incorporates the thought, the will, and the action line. How one responds to life comes from this area of the chart. Being in the center, it brings to light the importance of living in both the spiritual and material world and how we work and balance that awareness. Other factors in the chart will indicate how important this is to us this lifetime. Many with this line in their chart are excellent poets, singers, composers, and actors. Now, you see that I wrote the word scientists outside of the poet, the singer, the composers, and the actors because they seem to be more involved in being present and open to others in society, where sometimes scientists are more inclusive. And that occurs when the individual doesn't want to be in the center of the limelight and really wants to focus, like a scientist does, on a discovery or a feeling or something they're trying to create. Now, due to the capacity to feel and empathy for and with others, many find themselves also in healing. Definitely the body-mind. Again, going back to what I said earlier, there is a thought line here with the number 2 and counseling fields. All right, we're blending the number 2 here. I gave it the keyword cooperation because that's very important. Number 5, definitely love. And number 8, elevation. And we'll get into the meaning of that as we move forward. Depending, this is very important, on how many of these 3 numbers are in the line of emotion, determines the degree of use and expression of their qualities and characteristics of the number 2, 5, and 8. What is the number 2? Well, number 2, which is the second middle number of the line of thought, expresses the need and desire to cooperate in a manner which is unifying and inclusive. These people want to include, they want to partner, they want to commingle. It also carries a protective instinct for self and others, and it's also very intuitive. Now for the number 5, here we have the number of man and his 5 senses and capacity to feel and understand his emotions. Love which fulfills and encompasses a deeper search of our humanness. At the same time, must find its balance in order to consistently achieve harmony and will. Now, I emphasize will, going back to number 5, being front and centered, if I can find it here, in the line of will. Now, this is more of the divine will than of a self-fulfilling will. Okay, of one's purpose. And at best, it's the holder of spiritual and social growth. So the number 5 is very important. All of them are. We'll get into what happens if there's an excess of number 5s. Now, the number 8 has great influence in the makeup of this line. It is the middle number for the line of action, a key component for the combining interaction of these 2 lines, and this is why we're calling it Dharma, because Dharma is doing what has to be done. The number also represents beginning and endings in which we work to transform the conscious and unconscious within the deeper realms of the psyche. What are the weaknesses? Well, there can be a tendency to become overly attached to the work that they are doing, or their identification of the work becomes who they are. Often, intimate relationships are disappointing as the scope of emotional exchange may not fulfill the needs of those with this line. They love and feel so deeply that their significant others sometimes not at that capacity of emotional, let's even say interest. They feel that there's something lacking there. And many times people in intimate relationships find it hard to adjust to kind of a normal attachment and need in someone's emotional love. These are the individuals that always look for their soulmates, that things may have to be just so. All right, when out of balance, relationships may be destructive due to one's needs and search for love, choosing unhealthy partners, becoming disillusioned with people sometimes happen, disillusioned with relationships, love, and life. And some begin living a reclusive lifestyle. They're detaching from others as a way to protect the hurt and sensitivity they feel. So let's continue now with variables with this number. If there are 3 or more number 2s, the individual with this line of emotion may have difficulty dealing with changing feelings, messages, and emotions that enter the mind and heart. This can often stem from the person wishing to be fair and just, not step on anyone's toes. They're seeking to be liked or to be included. Sometimes they walk on eggshells when aspects of a situation is against their own needs or wishes. So they sometimes forfeit themselves, deny their needs in order to be loved, to be included, or to be needed. These are some variables, especially when there are 3 or more number 2s. These individuals may become pushovers or gullible. Some, depending on how the rest of the chart sets up, may lack grounding and forming boundaries. Being a dualistic number, they may be highly changeable from one day to the next, which causes it to be very discerning and unsettling for partners and lovers with this number, or finding decision-making stressful due to uncertainties within themselves or the environment they find themselves in. Now, if there are 3 or more number 5s, the individual with this line of emotion will also be very changeable and uncomfortable to commit self to task or a relationship. These numbers bring a heightened sensitivity to the 5 senses. Being in control of these instincts and passions will be a work in progress. So this is very hard when you have 3 or more number 5s to balance the senses, the passions, the desires. There could be overindulgence, could result in differing ways. There is a tendency to be a jack of all trades, master of none, or a rolling stone when we have 3 or more 5s in the charts. 5 is also connected to health and especially the heart. So there are health aspects here. If there are 3 or more number 8s, the individual with the line of emotion may find it difficult to balance personal needs and those they have and relate with. Here, the need to please and find common ground to build on takes precedence. Yet, it could be problematic. Usually, that occurs as this is not often feasible or productive in nature. So this need to adjust to balancing their personal needs and the needs of others is usually in futility, because one day what pleases us may not be the next. And that is true for those that we work and live with. Number 8, being a powerful number, may resort by becoming demanding or controlling in order to achieve their ends, or feeling like, okay, they have balance now. It is difficult to balance this vibrational energy. Number 1, having just one number 8 gets some accustomed to, because it works in the spiritual and the material world, and it vacillates. Having 3, you can understand, is very hard to balance. Many reach great heights in fame and worth, only to find themselves slipping down to levels of defeat. Much depends on fate, karma, and their underlying intentions when they embarked on these projects. How to balance? Well, being that this plane of expression has to do with your emotions and sensitivity, the individual would greatly benefit when he or she initiates and upholds their boundaries. Also, to learn that love of self is equally important to love for other, releasing any tendency to feel responsible for making others happy. Also, I do suggest taking inventory of your emotions, being aware of how the unconscious works in affecting moods, desires, and perceptions at any given moment. Also, asking your soul what it needs from you right now. Thanks everyone for joining me. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to let me know. Please like and send some comments my way. What I will be doing next for the Pythagorean Triangle is talking about the void lines of expression, where there are no numbers in those areas of your chart. All right, everyone, take care. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.